One of the largest gaming-focused blockchains has finally launched their token, and it is completely changing the environment. We're going to break down everything about this token launch, why it's so important and vital to the games that will be on this blockchain in the future, and the biggest game that is on it right now. Are you ready? Well, hey there, crypto friends. Thanks again for joining me. Axie Infinity is one of the biggest games out there when it comes to play to earn and NFTs. It is one of the originators, and they have really laid the way or laid the path for a lot of other games in the work that they have done. And one of those paths that they've really been following is the launch of their own proprietary blockchain called Ronin. Now, this is something that they desperately needed. It helped alleviate a lot of the pain points that Axie Infinity was seeing early on, and being able to move to their own blockchain really helped them to, shape the future of their game and beyond. So Ronin has been out for quite some time now, but the RON token, or their platform token, has just finally launched. And this is the token that you're going to be using in the future here for all things Axie Infinity and all the games that will soon be built on this blockchain. We're going to talk about all of that and how that works here in just a second. But if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel and you love gaming, NFTs, and earning money in crypto, make sure you hit that subscribe button and smash that like if you like what you see. Then jump in my Discord with all of the rest of the Stachers, my amazing community, and talk NFTs, metaverse, and gaming with us. So this Ronin token launch is actually kind of a big deal, especially if you're an Axie Infinity player. But if you love play to earn gaming and what we're doing here in the NFT gaming kind of environment, this actually could be pretty big, because we could see a lot of games migrate or being built on this chain, and we'll talk about why here in just a second. So if you don't know about RON or the Ronin network, it is the blockchain purposely built for gaming, and in particular Axie Infinity in mind, by the Sky Mavis team, which is the same team that built Axie Infinity. It's essentially a layer 2 Ethereum scaling solution that is EVM compatible, so it is compatible with everything else going on Ethereum. And they made this to be able to do a couple of things. The biggest one is to be able to cash out your Axie earnings, like SLP, in a native marketplace where you don't have to then go move your funds to the ETH network and eat up a bunch of fees. And that has been huge when you talk about the increase of that extra money that you would have been paying to fees to cash out your SLP. So that was one of the biggest things they did, and what essentially Ronin allowed them to do. So you could cash out the SLP to like USDC, Ethereum, or to now here to RON here pretty soon. So which is pretty cool. So this network has been built to host future games, and that is kind of their idea here. It's not just going to be allocated to Axie Infinity. So I think that's one of the biggest boons here to Ronin as a blockchain and to RON as a token. Right now they're kind of starting with Axie Infinity, but they're really looking to onboard other games into this, and they're going to be offering some incentives. We'll talk about that here in just a second. So, but what RON really is doing is giving utility and value back to its user base, its Axie Infinity game users, in the kind of way of like A, saving them on fees, but then B, also allowing them to do things like farm liquidity, right? And so you can farm RON tokens on the platform with liquidity pools for AXS, SLP, and Ethereum. And this is essentially one of the main ways that RON is being created, because what they did right now is essentially they did not do any distribution through like central exchanges. They didn't do any offerings. It's all allocated through essentially farming it and earning it, right? So which is how it should be, instead of there being these massive sales on these centralized exchanges. So they really thought out the token distribution here. The only thing I would kind of call out a little bit is that they did allocate 30% of the RON total amount of tokens to the team. So that's a pretty significant amount when it comes down to the percentages and how they break that down. Now, the good thing about this is that this blockchain gives you super cheap transactions, and the block time is incredibly low. And they have also built it in to where you can get some free transactions if you hold Axies or if you hold land. So they really have thought out a lot of these things, and it really definitely does help. And so in conjunction with Ron as a blockchain and the Ron token, they did also build out their own DEX, which is called Katana. And so this is the main, decentralized exchange for Axie Infinity as an ecosystem and the Ron token as a brand new token that is launched. And it is actually the #2 volume by exchange by volume. So when you talk about all these other DEXs and all these other exchanges that are pushing volume through, in particular NFT focused volume, it is #2 with about 250,000 daily active users. So it is very active. The Axie Infinity community is using it a lot. And when you think about that just being one community, wait until there's another game the same size of Axie on there, it could literally be, the #1 without a question. So I think there's a lot of potential there because of a lot of these things, the way that they've, really laid the foundation. They understand how these things work, what kind of pain points they're going to run into, what other games might need in a blockchain that is purpose built for gaming, has its own DEX built in, and with the launch of this token Ron, you can essentially farm this through liquidity, and that is how it's being created. It's being created through the game and through liquidity farming. And so I think that's kind of a fair launch to me, right, with this kind of token. And so we've seen some appreciation with the token in particular, and I think that we're going to see even more appreciation when we see the second game come here. Right now, I'm bullish on it because it is helping Axie Infinity, is pushing their ecosystem forward and the Ronin chain forward. But I think that when I'm really going to be seeing a lot of bullish news around it is when they launch a game that is outside of Sky Mavis, right? That's when I think we'll really see the realization of the Ronin blockchain and Ron as a token. Now, one of the things that's actually really cool here is that, they have actually incentivized dApps being built on top of the Ronin chain. So dApps that help you to be a better manager, right? To be able to maybe do some automatic managing and send out, the payments and things to your scholars. And then obviously, like I said, building other applications like games on top of the platform, on top of their new blockchain. And then also be able to just fund and incentivize these things. So they're going to help to incentivize these things with a development fund as well. So I think that all these things kind of start to add up into a pretty bright future for the Ronin chain and for Ron as a token. So if you have not been farming Ron with your AXS or your SLP, maybe you've been cashing those things out as you're an Axie Infinity player or manager, I would highly suggest looking at doing a little bit of farming with the Ron token for some kind of future-proof gains here when we start to see even more adoption of this blockchain and this token, which I think is definitely coming here pretty soon. Sky Mavis is not resting on their haunches. They are on their laurels. They're definitely going to be pushing forward, and I think this is really one of the next steps, the launching of the Ron token. So I hope you guys like that breakdown of Ron and kind of like an in-depth dive of what it's about, what it is looking, how it's working, what kind of way you can get rewards from it, what the farming looks like, because I think these are important things to be able to know. Let me know what you think about Ron. If you're farming or if you think it's not a good idea and it's not going to help move the Ronin blockchain forward, I'd love to hear in your comments below. That's what we have for today, folks. Until next time, stash that crypto, friends.